Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. And I'm sorry we are late by a couple of days to do the review of the latest Masterchef Season 15 Dynamic Duos episode review. It is episode 3 and it is, it's a surprise, but
not really, because they showed it last week.
Well, they showed it last week, but
it's not really a surprise if they already show it.
There are just so many people that are trying out again, and there's 8 couples that didn't get in, and so they have all the ones that made it, and they all are wearing their white aprons. They send them all upstairs because they do not have to compete. And then you have these 8 couples who didn't get it from the 2 nights of audition videos. And they compete. So you've got the divorced couple, you have the glamours, etc.
So basically, a bunch of people who... And I think it's kind of shitty, too, because, they haven't done this in the last couple of years where later on in the competition people get to come back. So now they're doing it where people who fail the audition get to come back. I don't like that idea at all, because I feel like, they got 2 chances. They got 2 chances to be on the show.
But they do have one extra criteria that nobody had initially, and that is they have to have a plate for each judge, which, remember, they did that
They've done that before.
Yeah, I know, but it made things a lot harder. But they didn't really even focus on that when they were all cooking.
Yeah.
Not one thing. And I remember before when they had that.
They were very anal about it.
Yeah, that was a criteria. They went on and on about it, and actually, to me, it upped the stress level a lot more.
Well, again,
than it needed to be.
I would just say I didn't like how they got a second chance. I guess, they obviously like it because they got a second chance, but
It was kind of weird.
I don't like how with MasterChef they just drag out auditions for 3 episodes. I think that I'd be fine with 2 episodes of auditions, but 3 episodes is it's too much. If you want to do that, have that as a bonus episode on the website or something. Don't put that on the main show, because who knows when the season's gonna finish, because how last year, the year before, it was September when MasterChef finished, remember?
Yeah.
And
because they kept putting it off. I think we had the Olympics, we had the presidential election, so we had debates.
Safi, the election...
No, I remember they had to put off over and over again. What's the deal?
Yeah, they had to keep on postponing it, and it's really gay. So, I will say though, the episode, it wasn't bad, but the thing that I didn't like about it was that, the other thing I didn't like was that they all cooked at the same time, and then they all got judged at the same time. It wasn't a one versus the other thing.
No, and that's what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and so it made
confused.
It made things very confusing, and it made it just feel kind of like what they call mind numbing. When you're kind of when you watch an action movie or a superhero movie, and it's just 2 hours of action with no story. That's what it felt like. It was there was no breaks in between each, apron that people got. And then at the very end, they all got lined up. And then, they picked them out they're picking out people for a gym class team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like that either. So, overall, I didn't like the episode. So, Safi, let's get into it. What did you think about it? Did you think it was the greatest episode ever?
I didn't like that either. And I'll tell you, it seemed, again, I hate to say it, that to me, it was obvious for like at least maybe 3/4 of the couples again that they were going to win. It's only half, so 4 of the 8 duos would get aprons. And so, but it seemed to me that, like it was for the last 2 audition shows, that you could tell who was going to get it and who wasn't. I mean, you would think in your mind, okay, that couple was more than likely to get it, and it always seemed to end up that way. And even Marco thought that too. So I didn't even take down all their names because I didn't really, even though when you watched it all the way through, you kind of had a feeling, a sense, at least for most of them, who was going to get it. And so I'll just start with, so anyway, we said this before, they had to make, the twist of it that made it different from before is they had to make a dish for each judge to have on their own to eat. So that, like Marco said, they've done that before, but to me, in years past when they did it, they made such a big deal out of it. It was so, I mean, they really made a big deal about this before, and it was so, I thought that was stressful in and of itself. But this time, it just kind of flipped and went under the bridge, and nobody seemed to care, but, and they all took it in stride, which I thought was good, because nobody made a big deal. I don't remember anybody making a big deal out of that. Okay, so, they have 45 minutes, and so I think in the other episodes, they had 30. So they get 15 extra minutes, but probably because they have these 2 extra plates. They're not just making 1 plate. And so we have the couple, remember that made the risotto? They made risotto and before, and what was the other thing? Was it deer meat or duck? It was duck and risotto, I believe. The 2 hardest things to make. And we know this, I've said this before, because we have made risotto. Marco made it, and you have to watch it every second, and it has to be cooked within a certain amount of time. Well, anyway, I thought, and so Joe went up to him, and they said, now, he tasted they made rice, and I don't even know what else they made, but...
that was like the big star of the dish, I guess, was rice. And Joe was like, what's wrong? He tasted it, and he's like, what's wrong with this rice?
And so they're all paranoid.
And then they're just like, oh my God, this is on national television, and he's saying something's wrong with it. Oh,
and they're both like, and they both taste it.
Does it need sweetness? Does it need salt? I don't know. And Joe's just standing there like, oh God, these people suck. They're amateurs. They're not as good cooks as me, Joe, the famous chef. Oh, wait.
He's not a chef.
He's not a chef.
He's a restaurateur.
Oh!
Okay, so anyway.
So that was kind of gay.
I just thought, there's no way they're going to get it. Because they didn't make risotto. See, that confused me. Because they said a rice dish. And that's risotto they were calling a rice dish. So I thought, why don't they just say risotto? Well, it wasn't risotto.
Do you like rice, Safi?
Yeah, I do. But anyway, it was okay. There was nothing wrong with it. And I'm trying to see... Oh, they had pan-seared ahi tuna and wasabi mayo. And they did not have a lot of sauce because it wasn't that good or something. I don't remember what happened, but they got rid of it. They threw it away.
Yeah, they left it off.
But I guess it was in the food, but there was no extra, like I don't know what they do with it, dip it in or whatever.
Well, they were like, oh, well, what it really needed was for you to spoon some of it on the top. Just a little spoonful on the top.
See,
it's like, for what? For what? Like a little spoonful? What are you going to get out of that? Like 1 bite? You get 1 bite with some fucking marinade on it? Like, that's not worth it at all.
So I thought, even though, and they showed the dish, and it actually looked really nice. they shaped the rice into a shape, like a cone. Was it like a kind of cone shape or something? But anyway, it looked good. The food looked good. Okay, and that to me, I mean, if even for us when we're watching these cooking shows, if we see that it looks good, it usually is good. And we're getting a far away. We're not there up and personal. We're far away. So anyway, I kind of thought because of all that, because they didn't have any extra sauce, they're not going to get in. So I thought they're out. Then we have the veterinary nurses who we've had to take our cats to the emergency vet clinic, and that's exactly what they were. They were veterinary nurses at an emergency vet clinic. Well,
and Bernie hates them.
Well, they're vegetarians.
He hates them so badly that they had to put a collar on his head so that he wouldn't kill them.
No, so it wouldn't tear us apart. But I really think it's, and I know this, I'm not trying to be offensive, but I just think they have it against them to just be vegetarians.
Well, I would have it against them too because it's gross.
Well, I don't know how what they're going to do because this is happening everything else.
Oh yeah,
kids
there was
and adults.
I forgot there was that one guy in that one season. He was like this guy with like a black. He was black with braids, and I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But Safi, see, even Safi remembers him. He's vegan, so he couldn't taste the meat. And so,
that's what I mean. To me,
he got eliminated pretty early.
They have everything going against them.
Yeah.
Their food was good, and I'm not saying that's the problem. That what they cook isn't good. It's just that when everybody else has got to cook, some kind of meat.
I could deal with a mushroom.
And they're not going to be able. They have to do it too.
No, but here's the thing. Yeah, they're not special. They're not
that's
special.
Right. So how are they going to do it? And they
but,
can't taste it.
But
and I just don't see it.
The thing is that I could deal because I'd actually be kind of and I'm saying kind of interested in trying that lion's mane mushroom, like if they cook it like a steak, because I do like mushrooms. But if you handed me a plate that had banana blossoms as fish and then French fries, I'd probably kill you. So
well, what they were doing is they were making they were quote capturing the essence of fish and chips.
I don't think so. The essence of fish and chips is fish.
That's what they said.
It's fucking fish. The whole point of it is because England, they got all the ocean and the sea and the fish and shit, and so that's the essence of fish and chips is the fish.
I know, it's not banana blossoms. What they did was they got banana blossoms, which I'm not familiar with. I mean, we've had banana plants.
I haven't even
but there
ever
hasn't
heard
been
of that.
any banana blossoms. I don't know. And even I've been in banana fields in Tanzania.
Banana
and
blossom.
I didn't see any banana blossoms. I don't know what the deal is.
Banana blossom just sounds like the name of an Asian prostitute. But anyway,
well, what they did was they dipped it in beer batter.
It's an edible flower. Look at this shit, Safi. What the fuck? Ooh, look. There's this one recipe: banana blossom, vegan fish and chip. Oh.
I just.
Oh.
Well, they seem to.
Oh.
So vegan fish and chips.
Oh God. Oh. Oh.
Don't be so loud.
Look at what it looks like on the inside, Safi. That looks like. I don't even want to say what that looks like.
It looks like it has bugs.
It looks putrid. It looks. Oh God! They have canned banana blossom. Oh. Who would eat this shit?
Oh, it's like artichokes, probably.
Just eat the damn fish, bitch.
Marco, don't do that.
Eat the damn fish.
Well, anyway, I just don't see, and they've had the problem before in other shows where they picked a vegan person, and you have, let's say, 11 couples, or 11 people, because never been couples before, and you have 10 out of the 11 and they cook meat, and you're going to allow this other person, so it's persons, to cook something that isn't meat, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, well, they've had before where someone will have like an allergy to something,
Well,
and
that's
they
different.
can't
That's
cook
a
with
death.
that.
That's something that they can die from and have to have an EpiPen available.
But this is something...
That's not the same thing.
But this isn't that. This is just mental illness. This is just, we don't want to eat meat because we treat animals in the ER. But we don't want to be ER nurses anymore for animals, so why does that even fucking matter anymore?
Yeah, because they did say, I think most of them, now they all had goals pretty much.
And these girls, they don't even want to do that anymore.
So they want to make cookbooks.
They want to be chefs.
And no, but they want to make cookbooks and do something else. I didn't hear anything.
Oh,
about being
they
chefs.
want to have Instagram followers. That's what they want. And at the end of the episode, they're like, one of them, I think she like twirled around her stethoscope and she's gonna like throw it or something. And
no, if they had their stethoscopes, that's what they would do.
Well, and it's like, again, if you care about the animals so much, then why do you want to quit treating them and be a chef instead?
I don't know, but they actually want an apron.
It's just so gay.
I just wanted to say. So, okay, so I'll go to the next one. The next one is the grandmas. Now, that's two grandmas. They're from the South. Basically, before now this has been another problem with people from the South, and you know this from even professional cooks from the South. Not all of them, I've seen a few, like that woman was very famous, and she had said something racist or something years before, and everybody got all down on her case.
The Dala or whatever.
I can't think of what her name is, but anyway.
The weird one.
The things that they made, there were so many sweet things, there wasn't anything to balance it out, and that's why they didn't get an apron in the first place. Now, so I just didn't think they'd get it because they seemed weak.
Yeah.
In other words, they just seemed like they weren't up to the task. It's nothing against them, but it's just something I felt.
It just kind of felt like last year where they're, doing the generations thing, and it's like, oh, look, they're the two boomers. They're
Okay,
representing the boomers,
well, this is another case of sauce. They made an herb-crusted lamb, crusted lamb, which...
And I like lamb. I haven't had lamb in a long time.
Well, I don't eat that. That's one thing I won't eat. But anyway, they did really good on that. That was fine. But they made a red wine demi-glace, whatever, sauce. And they had some other things too. Or maybe one other thing like a vegetable. But guess what? The sauce broke. And so...
That's a
the
no-no.
quote is the sauce is the fundamental part of the dish. So therefore, they weren't going to get an apron like I thought they wouldn't. And they were very upset because it can happen to anybody, no matter how good you are. It's just like I just didn't think they were going to be able to compete. So they did not get an apron. And again, like the risotto people or the rice dish people, it was something with their sauce. So we got two people with a sauce problem. Okay, how about the Cuban firefighters from Miami? They made a Cuban picadillo, which was some kind of beef dish, and they made tostones, which I'm not really sure what that is. I've never heard of it. I think it's something that's a carbohydrate, and it's crunchy. And Joe really loved it. He said that's the best tostone he's ever had.
Yeah. How many tostones do you think Joe's had in his whole life? Like 0?
I don't know. I don't even know what it is. It looked like a tortilla, like a small tortilla.
It's just the fact that, that when Joe goes to a restaurant, he's like, I'll take the spaghetti with light sauce and also a little sauce on the side, and also a little sauce in a glass. You know, he's not going to order tostones, you know, unless his wife...
I've never even seen that on a menu.
Unless his wife forces him.
Well, anyway, they had a problem with their beef. It didn't have enough flavor, so they did not get it.
Yeah.
And I didn't think they'd get it anyway because I know that they're, you know, they're lifesavers.
They did seem like a good team, though.
And they were a very good team.
But to me, that was like, I thought, okay, they kind of deserve to be in the show because they're a good team.
But they had something wrong with their beef, and I just don't think their cooking was competitive enough for everybody else's, even though they cook all the time. I mean, we've seen firefighters where we are. They're at the store all the time getting food to cook. Okay, then we have the famous divorced couple. They've been divorced for 10 years. And before, when they competed, I think that it kind of like people just couldn't believe that they could do this. And they did not get along. They weren't together. They were out of sync. And so therefore they didn't get the apron before. But this time they have a boy together, and they're doing this. They want to have a restaurant and do this for him or something. I wasn't really ever clear. And they're Hispanic. I'm not sure where they're from. Oh, they're Mexican. Sorry. Because the dish that they made was some kind of poblano peppers. And it's a dish that they eat on Mexican Independence Day when Mexico got its independence from Spain. Joe thought the dish was overly sweet, but they all seemed to like
Safi,
the dish.
you're really proud of knowing that historical fact.
Why not?
You're like, and that was the day when the Revolutionary War was won.
I didn't think they'd win, but they did. Don't ask me. And
Who was this again?
This was the Hispanic couple
oh, yeah.
who were divorced for 10 years.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think they would win either, you know,
I was really shocked because they won.
Because you know that they're not going to win the season. You know that they're not going to even get to the finale. You know, they're going to probably get eliminated, like, next episode, so it was kind of a waste of time for them to be put on the show.
Okay, we're almost done. I don't know if I could do this, so I need a drink. Then we have the brothers. And remember last time...
The Brothers Grimsby.
The last time they made, I wrote it down, the vegetable that's weird, I don't like it. And
Tostones?
Joe didn't like it either. He said, I don't like this vegetable.
Artichoke?
No.
Sasquatch?
It can't be artichokes. My God, that's Italian. It's Southern.
Beef jerky?
No, it's a vegetable.
Eggplant?
It has seeds in it.
Oh! Papaya.
That's a fruit.
Oh, mushroom.
I wrote it down. I thought I couldn't think of it, and I didn't write it down. And I didn't write down their names because I wanted to just know them by the name of their... No! By the name of the vegetable, because it's a very big Southern thing to eat this.
Artichoke.
But anyway, they made a shrimp and grits and charred slaw.
I would say that was actually... That might have been my favorite dish of the...
Sorry.
That might have been my favorite dish of the episode because I thought, you know, that they have like a Coca-Cola sauce for the shrimp.
It was coffee and soda.
And I thought, that sounds really, really good.
Well, Gordon loved it. He said it was intriguing sauce. Quote, unquote.
It's intriguing. That's just like his pretentious way of saying, it's pretty good. You know, like if you just fed that to like a normal person at home, like if we ate that, it'd just be like, oh, that's pretty good. But if you're Chef Gordon on a TV show, you have to pretend like you're smart. So you have to say, oh, that sauce is very intriguing.
Now, and then I guess Joe said this dish is very successful. So I thought they had a good chance of getting.
And that's probably what he says all the time as a restaurateur. So it's just another like pretentious bullshit thing to say.
But they got the apron.
And so, you notice
and I was a little bit shocked, but it sounds like they made up for it because remember we had two pairs who didn't get it because of the sauce, and then you had this pair who had a really good sauce, and they rewarded them for it by giving them an apron. So the sauce is really. I don't know if it's been like this before, but it's become very important.
I would also like to note, though, that we have not really talked about the third judge at all, and that's because
her name is Tiffany.
She is still bland.
She's kind of like in the orchestra when you have this minor part,
the cowbell,
and well, that comes into certain songs.
The chime,
and you know. It just that they don't. She doesn't have a strong voice.
You know, in our school, we had these people on the chimes and shit, and the percussion. Safi, you know what happened to the girl who did the chimes in our band class?
No.
She's the fucking manager of Panera Bread, and it's like
yeah.
Well, it's like really like that's the highest that you go after the chimes. You get to manage a fucking Panera Bread. It's like, that's pretty embarrassing, honestly.
Okay, and I have two more. I call them the weird white couple.
Oh!
And I don't know.
Oh!
They don't have tattoos.
The weird white couple.
They don't dress abnormally, and I say abnormally, I mean they're not like goth, or they're not like wearing hippie clothes. I mean they're just dressed like average people, but they're odd to me. I don't know what it is about them. They strike me the wrong way, but they love each other and they've been together for 8 years. But I'll tell you what they made. I'm going to tell you what they made. I've never heard of this before. I'm sure it's real popular and everybody knows about it, but I don't know about it.
I've heard of it.
They made spiced lamb lollipops.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
I thought that was strange.
And
it goes along with them being strange.
No, and you've seen that on menus before, and I've gotten that before. It's not an actual lollipop. It's just they call it that because you get the bone and you eat it like
a lollipop. Yeah, I know. Well, I saw it. It was like a circle thing at the top.
It's a weird,
with a straight thing coming out of it, like a thing you hold on to when you're eating a sucker.
It is kind of a weird name, but I've heard of that quite a few times.
So I think they're always impressed when somebody cooks lamb well. So they were very impressed by the lamb, but they said they needed something fresh there. I don't know what that means. Along with it, they had some other stuff with it. I just didn't write it all down.
It means they wanted them to give them. It means they wanted to give them all a kiss. Something fresh.
Okay, so they got an apron. Okay, I have one more.
I think I deserve an apron.
We have the other married couple. There were two married couples that went up against each other. One got it and one didn't. And they made New York strip steak, sauteed spinach, and twice-baked potatoes. And they loved their twice-baked potatoes, and Joe wants the recipe for it. 2 out of the 3 judges went on and on about the potatoes. And that's something that we make here, Marco and me. And mainly Marco's making it now, but...
making what?
Twice-baked potatoes.
Yeah.
But,
the trick is the pepper.
Oh, God.
I gotta add the pepper. And see, Safi, she doesn't even add the pepper. It's really strange.
Because I have such a coughing fit.
So I have to add the pepper.
Just thinking about it makes me cough.
Safi has to leave the room when I add the pepper, but you get a peppery meal.
But we have a problem here. We've had 3 people so far, 3 couples out of 8. That had a thing with their sauce. 2 of them were a bad sauce. 1 was a good sauce. this couple, their sauce wasn't good enough. They did all this stuff really good, but the sauce wasn't good enough. And what do I mean by that? I don't know. I don't remember what they said. It's just the fact they said it wasn't good enough. So they didn't get an apron. So I think that's interesting. I've never... I mean, they were not asked to make a specific dish. I guess... Oh, well, next week, they do have a specific thing. They're going to have to make the best dinner party dish. And somebody's going to hurt themselves. So that's for next week.
I think it's Kayla.
I don't know who you're talking about.
The blonde one with Ryan K.
Oh, my.
I think she's going to cut her finger. Gordon's going to have to kiss her boo-boo. And then she can cook.
Well, they called for a medic. So
Uh-oh. Maybe she chopped her finger off. And then they're going to eat her finger. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Marco, don't be a dick.
Would you eat Kayla's chubby finger?
Okay, so the people that got it were the divorced couple.
You think it would be sweet?
Marco, shush up.
You think it would be sweet
the shrimp
or
and
sour?
grits guy, the veterinary, emergency veterinary nurses, who are the vegetarians.
Would you go, yum, 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 yum,
and
yum,
then the
yum,
weird
yum,
white couple. And that's it.
Yum, yum,
That's
yum,
the
yum, yum,
line.
yum, 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 yum.
And so I just told what's going to happen next week, and that's it. I don't know what to think. I don't know. I just had, I didn't have a really good feeling. I didn't have a bad feeling, but and we watched it after, because we've been real busy the last few days. When you watch it, on regular TV, you have to wait for the commercials and you have all that in there. When you watch it after the fact, it's streamed.
It's a lot more enjoyable.
It's because there's no commercials, really.
Yeah.
Or there might be one.
The only commercial is when I get up to go to the bathroom.
So, I don't know. I just didn't... I didn't have a completely good feeling about it. I don't know. It just seems blah to me. I don't know what that... And I feel bad because I'm not criticizing the people. I'm just thinking it's maybe the setup. And then they have a new chef. And I don't really know anything about her. And not really impressed with her completely. And I apologize for that because maybe I just don't have the right to say that. I miss Sarum. So I don't know what's happened to him. I hope he's okay. It was just something he didn't want to do. He had some other professional obligation. I don't know what's going on with him, but anyway, I miss him because I just liked him.
What'd you rate the episode?
Well, I'll just give it a C+.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. I think it's weird, and I think it was weird for all of them. Even for, the people they had won their aprons fair and square in the first, audition. And then it's all done, those 2 audition episodes. And then they're all standing there in a line. They all have their aprons on. And then they have said, we have a surprise for you. Because the competition's not over yet. And then you have this line of 8 pairs who didn't win the auditions come in, and they're going to compete again. And 4 out of the 8 will get aprons. And I think that was kind of like, and I don't think anybody expressed any really bad attitude. I'm not saying that. I think everybody was really a good sport about it and thought, wow, that's really nice that they get to do that. Maybe nobody looked disgruntled or angry. But it's just kind of an odd feeling to have that. So like Marco said, he didn't feel good about it. He didn't think it was right. But it wasn't easy straight for them. They did have an extra 15 minutes, which they didn't have before. But they had to make 3 plates. And we've been through this before, but they didn't emphasize it, where they have to be all exactly alike. Did they even say that? I don't even think they said that.
No.
Before, that was like, oh my God, every little piece on the plate has to be identical. Oh my God.
It looks like
we've got a splotch of sauce over here that's not there on the other plate. Oh my God, what are we going to do? I didn't like that before.
There's one extra dot of sauce on her plate, but not on my plate.
I mean, and I'm serious. They were like this before, and it was like
the meat is
give
stacked.
An ulcer just doing this identical plate thing.
The meat is stacked on top of the sauce, and on the other one, the sauce is on top of the meat.
I know, and they did this, and it went on and on. I mean, every week we had this. It was like it wasn't. It took away to me from the cooking of the dish and how everything went together. When you're so worried about everything looking identical. But they didn't go on and on about that. So I think that was good.
Well, I would say that, this episode was bad. I can't wait to see Kayla's finger get chopped off.
Nobody's finger's gonna get chopped off.
Maybe they should offer that at the carnival. You get a chubby white girl's finger, deep fried.
What are you doing?
Deep fried for flavor. But I would just say in general with these seasons, Masterchef seasons, is that we look back at like all the seasons that we've reviewed, like we've reviewed quite a few seasons. Like I think like 4 or 5, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you can't really even rank them. You can't really even tell them apart. Pretty much like. It's like, oh yeah, there's that one season, there's that one and all the winners suck, basically, except for 2 of them one or 2 of them that we've seen. And, but then you look at Hell's Kitchen. In Hell's Kitchen, you can clearly differentiate like that season of Hell's Kitchen's better than that one. That one's better than that one, and this was that season, this was that season. Hell's Kitchen, it's really, really easy. I think that Hell's Kitchen is the much better show, and MasterChef, I don't know, it's fallen off. It's really fallen off. It doesn't really seem like they want to do it, or they care about it at all. It doesn't really even seem like they treat it like it's an important, show. It just seems like a thing that they have to do. So I would give this episode a C. I mean, there's nothing there for me to even consider rewatching the episode, or, it's bland. The show is bland. It needs some sauce, and I don't think that Chef Gordon has it in him anymore. He's too busy.
He has a lot of stuff going on.
He's too busy with his 1,000 other TV shows, his 1,000 other restaurants, and his frozen meals at Walmart.
They're no good.
Yeah.
Now you have to look at our other videos if you're not familiar. We have reviewed pretty much most of them.
Yeah, we do
and
have
the appetizers too. He does appetizers and entrees.
We do have 1 or 2 more that we have to try, unfortunately.
And none of them really, for the most part,
they're terrible.
90% of them, or 99%, or 95%, are no good.
The only thing of his that I've gotten twice is the crab cakes, and it was just because I was really in the mood for seafood, and then it was funny because the same day that I got them, I ended up going to a seafood restaurant and having a really fancy and really good seafood meal. So it wasn't even necessary to get that. So, it's disappointing, but it's fun to review it because, it gives Safi something to do.
I don't know. I have so much to do. I don't know what in the heck he's talking about. God.
I can't wait to see Kayla's finger get cut off.
So anyway, that's it. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers. Goodbye.
You think that they could put that in a MasterChef cookbook? Kayla's finger.
Marco, how do you know that her finger's getting cut? How do you know it's not a burn?
Maybe it's
Usually
just
it's been a burn.
maybe it's just wishful thinking. I don't know.
I don't know either. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.